Hi there, welcome. If you're new to my sessions, these are the 3 takeaways you can find. Basically, I'll cover Wyckoff stages, current and the near term. Also, the key price levels that the particular asset it's going through. Like this, in this case, is SUI, where the key resistance or supports are. And finally, any breakout timing. So let's dive into both the daily and weekly charts and see what's going on with SUI. We're looking at the weekly chart first, as this is the bigger picture where it's going to confine how far the daily can go. So in previous sessions we talked about the Wyckoff stages with high percentage or higher chance for the price to come down for a sign of weakness stage, and currently is still within that range. So last week it tested the yellow support key level, $2.35. As of this moment, the candlestick of this week just started, and initially we're seeing some price gain, but then like I said, this range between the yellow key level and the green key level of $2.9 is likely the horizontal range that people would trade along during this period without any kind of positive or negative mega news coming out. So I'll remain or keep this percentage the same, likewise for the one going upward to the upside. So however, instead of upthrust of the distribution, 2, it's probably more prudent to set it at the second test. So meaning it may still climb even though the probability is low, but it may probably not reach the 4.32 purple key level. So that's let's set it over there for now, because these multiple levels are certainly very key resistance in addition to this yellow dashed line that was the previous uptrend support line. So we've talked about the Wyckoff stages. This LPSY hasn't happened or yet, because there can be one at this level around $2.9. And we've also talked about the next stages. Just to quickly check the Bollinger Band and Keltner squeeze. So previously we have been in a squeeze situation, and currently it's still early because the candlestick just started. We're technically getting, seems to be getting out of the squeeze period, but again, like I said, it can still continue. So if you ask what does it mean by a squeeze, so usually after a squeeze we'll see bigger price swings, and then they eventually die down a little. It doesn't always goes to the upside. It can swing towards the downside first before it comes back up. So just to make it clear, if it's like the first time you come across this Bollinger Band Keltner squeeze indicator. So what it means is, after we have gone through these bigger swings and then eventually it died down to the previous period, now we are having a big swing potentially happening. Okay, it doesn't have to be as big as the initial one, just that the price isn't going to be as static as in the past 2 or 2.5 months. So that's the big picture. Okay, now let's get to the daily. In terms of Wyckoff, if you're not new to my session, I always try to put in early attacks in advance. So here we probably had another low level LPSY, last point of supply, and we've gone through the PS period. So this is the funny part. Is it definitely the PS period now, or is it still going to continue? Because supposedly along this period we probably have more peaks and that's fine. We just got one a few days back. More importantly is the selling climax back in late June that we have been through. On Friday, just a few days ago, we have, or the price of SUI has reached that level. So is that it? Has the bottom appeared? So if these are true, meaning we are heading towards an automatic rally after the selling climax. Assuming that's the case, it's not over yet. So this was only one example of an accumulation cycle. It quickly climbed up to show sign of strength, and then eventually a platform period, like a backup last point of support period, before it re-enters a new distribution cycle. However, here, if we look further to the left, back in March this year, same year, okay, after the selling climax and the automatic rally, there were deeper tests and even a spring surfaced that hit the top or the ceiling of this long-term playground zone, this white box. That's around $1.8. So be careful while this seems to be recovering with the automatic rally. There's still chance for the price to come down to retest the yellow key level of 2.35 or come even lower to test the white level of around $1.8 that we call a spring, basically a stage where the price goes lower than the selling climax, and to shake out like people that are panicking before the big guys push the price up again. Okay, I hope that's clear. And in terms of this downtrend, you know I always draw these channel box, the trend box, either up, sideways or down. Currently we seem to be going through a steeper declining trend. So let me adjust the box. Just to make sure the peaks are nicely covered, including the wicks. So this looks more or less like where I want it to be. So except the outlier event on the October 10th, we have this low, this peak, this low here. This is fine. We've got 4 points as reference that this is potentially what the new downward channel looks like. So it's going through a steeper slope compared to the earlier one. The earlier one is this, okay, and then we are currently going through this. So the slope or the rate of decline has increased. So if that's the case, assuming this box, this new channel is true, I just wanted to draw a center line. So remember, when I say center line or midline of the channel, it doesn't have to be cutting the box exactly in half. More key is how frequent the prices bounces off or bounces above this particular line. Currently it's still not very significant because there weren't much activity along the middle of the channel. Mostly they are on either side of it, but then we're seeing more activities over here. So that may be where it should stay for now. And why I'm drawing these lines, I want to extend this box, not this line. I want to extend the box as well, so I can explain to you what's going on. Because these boxes, when they come to hit or crosses the key levels, those are the time points that potential breakout will happen. So less worrying for the center line that crosses the key levels, because if I say, like, if the price continues to trade within this triangle over here, okay, then when it breaks out, it's still within the downward channel box, and we're kind of expecting the price to be within the channel anyway. If it breaks to the downside below the key level, yeah, it has implication, because that's a key level. That means it can go as deep as to test the lower key levels. But again, also, it's still within the downward channel box, and that's why it's not something that's very alarming, because the nature of these channel boxes, or the price within the channel boxes, is that it travels between the two edges, the ceiling and the bottom, and you can see it repeatedly. Like what we have over here, it bounces off the channel edges, and these can be entry points for like some of the traders. Whenever they see a price bounces back to the other side, they put in an order and then pushes their stop loss until the price bounces back and force them to take profit, or they actively take profit at a percentage that they have designed for themselves. So this is the usage of the channel boxes, and as of now, the time point here at the end of the month, like not exactly the end, but like a week from now, this center line is crossing the yellow key level. But then, like I said, the more attention should be put towards this point near November the 14th. So when we edge into that particular angle, the indication of that is either it's still going to continue with the downtrend, meaning it may head towards the spring that I mentioned earlier. That is similar level as what we had in April this year, okay? Or it's going to break outside of this downward channel, which may be a good news that really SUI may be stabilizing in terms of price, but always be careful that a spring can still come. So that's the importance of finding the crosses between these channels and the key levels. Okay, I hope that's clear. And so let's take a look at this one more time. Yeah, okay, we're expecting 85% towards the downside, and sometimes I put in these percentages just to align the weekly chart. If it really comes out, say if it bounces and comes up, then that one we will call it sign of strength. Okay, yeah, so that, I think, pretty much sum up where SUI is. Remember, the downside risk is still high, and just keep an eye on the fact that it is a late stage distribution cycle, or the blue text here is a distribution cycle. The yellow text is a separate scenario, and we don't have to worry about it for the time being. So when the price eventually finishes the distribution, it's going to re-enter an accumulation. And last time a clear accumulation that happened was back in July to September 2024. Okay? So really, when you try to get in, try to buy the dip, you know there's still downside risk. Hope that's clear. Thanks for joining me. See you.